You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Training camp continues for the Cincinnati Bengals, but it's a big difference compared to the first several practices. The pads came on today. Dave Lapham was on hand for the practice, and Lap, you got to love it when the pads get on. It means things are going to get more physical, and Zach Taylor talked about that during his presser before practice.
Yeah, I think, you get the pads on and the pads popping and cracking a little bit, and all of a sudden the intensity and the physicality of the practices ramp up, and they ramp up quickly. And that was the case today. There's no question. I mean, guys had pep in their step. They were really closing on the football exceptionally well defensively, and they were just they were running to the ball, and everybody pursuing to the football, running to the football as a group. And that's a good sign that everybody's active and wants to be involved and be part of the action and support their teammates' efforts. So all that was great to see. It was an interesting practice to go out in pads for the first day. And I thought defensively, the early stages of practice, defense won the day. I mean, they were making a lot of plays, and then the offense started to come on a little bit and made their share, and it was kind of a 50-50 proposition. And then the storms came. Joe had a few big plays, deep balls that he made great throws with. Defense was making plays on the football. They were separating receivers from the football. They were arriving simultaneously with the football, and that timing, to see that kind of a timing on such an early basis of training camp was really good to see. They really timed that part of it up exceptionally well. And then the storms came, go inside, and, it's still kind of 50-50. Both sides were making their share of plays. And then down the stretch, offensively, they kind of ruled the day down the stretch a little bit with big plays. Joe Burrow, he hit Gesicki on a pretty pass to the sideline, and Gesicki was fired up, man. He caught it and tapped both feet in bounds and fired the ball into the wall of the bubble, the indoor facility. He was all geeked up about making that kind of play. Jamar Chase made a big play down the middle of the football field. T. Higgins made a play on an out route to the sideline where he did a great job of keeping both feet in bounds before, while securing the football for a completion. So there were a myriad of guys that stepped up offensively down the stretch for the offense, and they were running third down, situational stuff, some third down stuff, some red zone stuff, some low red zone stuff. And I thought that's where the offense kind of took control of it in the situational stuff. They made, I thought, more plays than defense. Not to say that the defense didn't make plays. They did. I mean, it was a good practice. I think it was a good practice for both football teams. Whenever you can stand there as a coach after practice, and Zach didn't have to do that today. There was no presser after practice whatsoever. But if he did, it would have been, hey, both teams, both sides of the football made plays. We're excited about the fact that both sides of the football were making plays today against each other. But I think he would probably have said that he'd have to, if he had to pick a winner on the day, it would be the offense, because of what they did in the bubble, like we talked about. Not by a wide margin, though, which is good. I mean, you like to see both sides of the football and the line of scrimmage making plays and making life tough for each other, and not making it a cakewalk for either party.
Lap Shamar Stewart signs his contract Saturday, gets on the field Sunday. By Monday, he's making some things happen. A couple pass breakups at the line of scrimmage, something you want to see out of your defensive line. And Coach Jerry Montgomery must be extremely excited to see that, because that's something the Bengals have lacked.
Yeah, and Jerry Montgomery is a guy that is a good teacher of that particular scenario. Getting your hands up and getting deflected passes, tip passes, and he works on that with his defensive line. He's got drills, in that regard, and it's all about timing. You have to have a clock in your head, and at about the 4-second mark, no matter where you are with respect to your pass rush, get your hands up. Maybe you're going to get lucky, and the quarterback's going to throw the football into the area where you have your hands up. Block a passing lane. That's what you want to try to do. every member of the defensive line, you got to stay in your rush lane. Don't get washed out of your rush lane and get some significant pass rush. Get up the football field, get in the quarterback's face if you can. The closer to the quarterback that you can get, the more of a percentage you're going to get your hands on him deflected and make a deflection or a tip pass. And really, his defensive line did a good job of that today. Shamar Stewart got his hands up a couple of times. I know one time inside at the bubble, he's rushing as a defensive tackle and got his hands up and deflected a pass. He's a big man. I mean, they list him at 6'5", about 270. I'd say he's every bit of 6'5" and every bit of 270. I think he's 270, 275 type guy. And he's very, very agile, very mobile. And he gets penetration. I mean, he's so long and so strong, and he'll collapse the pocket just because of his physical presence, his physical the nature of his body type. And I think he's going to get a lot of deflections. Now, want to see sacks out of him as well, and I'm sure he'll get his share of sacks. But the other part of it, if you can't get the sack, get your hands up and knock the ball down. There's no way that a ball can be completed when it's being knocked to the ground. I mean, that's basically a pass defense. It's the equivalent of a defensive back, knocking the ball down on the back end and getting a pass defense. So, you block a pass like that, it's a down that's a wasted down for the offense. They get nothing out of it. They have to go back and regroup, and now all of a sudden you put them in. If you do it on first down, now it's second and long. If you do it on second down, now it's third and long. So you want to get the offense off schedule as quickly as you possibly can, and as many times as you possibly can. You want to get the offense into as many 3rd and 7 or more situations to have to convert for a first down. Your percentages defensively of getting the offense off the football field and yourself as well go up exponentially. And not only Shamar Stewart did he do a good job, but also T.J. Slayton got his hands up and got a deflected pass in their drills today as well. And those aren't the only two guys. Miles Murphy had some pretty good rushes off the edge. He got close. I'm not sure. He might have gotten one deflection, a little bit of a tip pass. Sometimes a lot of times the defensive players, defensive linemen had their hands real close to the football, and I mean you can't tell if they tip the pass, because if they don't get a solid hand on the football, they'll reroute it with a little bit of a tip, but you can't really tell. You can't really see it because the spin of the ball doesn't change all that much. But if you get a good hand on it, the spin of the football will change, the trajectory will change, all that sort of thing. And if you only get like a fingertip or a little bit of a hand on the football, you can still get credited for getting a tip ball, but it is really not as dramatic a situation putting the offense behind the 8 ball as when you tip it and reroute it, take the spin off the football, and now all of a sudden swaffling down the football field, and very much a target for the defensive back to make an interception. So that's what you want to do. You want to try to reroute as many footballs as you can, redirect as many footballs as you can. Let your defensive backs have a shot at getting possession of it and getting a takeaway, getting the interception. If the defensive back can't quite get that done, or can't quite hold on to the deflected pass or whatever, it's still, a pass defense, pass broken up, and the offense is one down in the hole as they try to work their way down the football field.
You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. First Star Logistics, one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati. They are hiring. Be sure to check out firststarlogistics.com for more details on what positions are available. Lap, let's stay on that defensive line. B.J. Hill nursing an injury. That is giving Chris Jenkins, the second-year player, chance to open some eyes in this camp.
Yeah, and Jerry Montgomery definitely likes what he sees out of Chris Jenkins. Chris Jenkins is a specimen. He really is. He's well put together. He's got size, plenty of size, height, weight, carries a good bit of a body weight, but he carries it very well. He's not a sloppy, big belly hanging over the pant waistline, and that he's not that type of guy. This dude is put together. He's a solid human being. Yeah, he's a man. He's a full-grown man, and he uses that body to his advantage in the interior of the defensive line. They've got a couple of young bucks really that they feel pretty good about. McKinley Jackson they drafted, last year as well. They got a couple of young interior defensive linemen that they took in the second and third round. And McKinley Jackson was the second pick in the third round. They had two selections. Second rounder was Chris Jenkins. That's you're taking line. That's pretty high draft pick. The defensive lineman. You think a lot of them. You feel like you'll be able to develop them. You draft them, you develop them, and let them get out there and get after it, and make some plays for you. Be disruptive. Cause the offense to have to reconsider some of the things that they're doing, and also make some adjustments in their blocking patterns, because you're a huge disruption, causing all kinds of problems at the point of attack that the offense has to make adjustments to. The offensive line has to maybe adjust blocking patterns and calls that they're making to handle what you're doing to them. Put another man on you if you're Chris Jenkins, make them double team you. Now it's going to be easier for McKinley Jackson, your running mate, your partner at defensive tackle, because he'll be single blocked, and he should be able to go out there and make plays if he's being blocked one-on-one. That's what defensive linemen crave, the opportunity to be single blocked and go ahead and make some plays, get off blocks and separate and make plays in the running game, and then get up the football field and get an edge in the pass rush and disrupt the pocket and throw the timing off that the quarterback has between himself and his wide receivers down the football field. That's what it's all about. And they've got a couple of young defensive linemen that were disruptive as well on the interior. I mean, they also were factors in maybe not getting deflections, tips, that sort of thing, but shrinking the pocket. The defensive tackles. You expect the edge guys to maybe get more of the their hands up when they get up the football field. They get in the quarterback's face. They get their hands on the football. Defensive tackles can do the same thing. I mean, they can push the pocket, and they can get in the quarterback's face, get their hands on the football. If they don't get their hands on the football and deflect it and reroute it, they can shrink the pocket and the quarterback's vision, ability to see down the football field. Get in the quarterback's face. Don't allow him to see the middle of the football field. Don't allow him to see tight ends that are running their routes in the middle of the football field, backside of the backfield, down the middle of the football field. Make them guess as to where their receivers are. Don't let them see where the receivers are. Make them think, he should be in this vicinity, and then they release the football and the receiver's not in that vicinity. Those are the kind of things when you're really cooking as a defensive football team. You're forcing the quarterback to throw the ball early. You're forcing the quarterback to throw the ball inaccurately. You're disrupting the timing of the whole passing attack, and that's when things are their brightest. And the defensive line can have the biggest impact on that. I mean, these guys, if they can get up the football field and put pressure on the quarterback and get their hands on the pass, I mean, that's primo. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for knocking the ball to the ground, pass broken up, pass deflected, tipped, whatever the case may be. But if you can't get that done as a defensive lineman, if you get the quarterback's face and shrink that pocket and make him unsure and doubt himself as to what's going on down the football field, have some self-doubt with respect to his routes, the route combinations unfolding the way he's thinking they should be in his mind, but he really can't see it. If you can't validate it by not seeing it, now you're guessing, and that's the one thing the quarterbacks don't want to do. They don't want to be standing in the pocket as the pocket's face right up the gut of the pocket, and they're guessing what's going on down the football field. That's not a good situation to be in. A lot of uneasiness there. If you can't see it, it can be very, very difficult. If you can't see it, you're guessing. And as a quarterback, that's the last thing that you want to do is guess.
Lap, let me ask you this. 90-man roster, you can now go up until the final cuts. The Bengals aren't resting. They had Noah Fant, tight end, who former Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawk, in for a visit, looking to shore up positions, looking to add a player of quality. With Eric All, we know, being out with another surgery, tight end, is that a position you feel that Noah Fant could play a big role if the Bengals look to pursue him?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because I do think that the tight end position is one that is stocked pretty well in terms of player depth. Eric All Jr. obviously is unable to go. Tanner McLaughlin, a second-year guy that they like a lot. Cam Grandy, another second-year player that they like a lot. There's a rookie, Cole Taylor, at the tight end position. Tanner Hudson's a sixth-year guy, out of Southern Arkansas. And then Mike Gesicki out of Penn State, eighth-year player. And then Drew Sample, seventh-year player. So they've got a nice combination of experience with Hudson, Gesicki, and Sample, and then young players. And they've got a lot of, not just at the tight end position. That's an area, Dave, that a lot of people are excited about. And I know Mike Brown is. Mike Brown talked to me about it earlier today before practice. He said, I am really excited about what I'm seeing out of my second-year players. Not just in the tight end position. He did address that group, the group of tight ends that are young bloods at that position. Noah Fant's a very young player as well. So they add another young one to the mix. But they have a blend of guys in their sixth, seventh, and eighth year, and then guys in their second year, veteran players, young players. That's a good thing to have at any position group, tight end or wherever, offensively or defensively, either side of the football. You want to have you don't want to be overloaded with every player at that position group 6 years or more. Every player at that position group, rookies or second-year players. You don't want that. You don't want to have an imbalance one way or the other, either to the older side of a career or at the infancy in early stages of a career. You want to have a blend of players. You want to have a mix of players. And coaches love that because now you have veteran players that are helping younger players come along and showing them a good example and setting a good standard for them to live up to, and how to study the game, how to prepare, how to watch tape, how to do it on your own, how to not just when the coaches have you in the meeting room, but you're a pro now and you want to be a pro's pro. Take tape home, come in early and watch tape with another tight end, another teammate, watch tape with a defensive player, an outside linebacker or a safety, and get their perspective on what's going on between the tight end and those guys in the secondary when they're running routes, and what the defensive backs see, and how you don't want to tip your routes and tip your cuts and all that sort of thing. These are the guys that are going to be, the future of your football team. And the older players are going to have to develop these younger guys. And when they're ready to step aside as an older player, they can take pride in the fact that they helped develop this young buck who was a second-year guy, didn't know what he didn't know, and you took him under your wing and made him a pro, made him a pro's pro. So, there's a lot of that's going on with this football team. They are a nice mix. I think Mike Brown was talking about this as well with me today, that he feels like the personnel department has a great blend on the overall roster of, young players and veteran players as well. And they don't really have, players in double digits, Dave, in terms of length of career. Ted Karras is going into his 10th year. The only player on the roster that's going into his 10th year. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Usually NFL rosters, and the Bengals have 91 guys in camp right now. And, they'll have 91 guys in camp right up until they have to start making the final cuts for their roster to get down to the game day roster of 45 and, practice squad players and inactive players. And, it's going to be less than 50 players they're going to get down to. They got to cut 40 guys, over 40 guys, but they got 91 right now. And the mix of rookies, second-year player, third-year player, fourth-year player is literally up to the fifth year, rookie through fifth-year player is well over 60% of the roster. And then you've got, guys 5 years or more, making up the other 40%, 35, 40%. And the only guy in double digits in his career is Ted Karras. Usually you have 6, 7, 8 guys with 10, 12, 14, 15 years experience. The Bengals don't. But some of the guys that have been in the league going into their 6th, 7th, and 8th year, they've got plenty of game experience. And they've got game experience with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not like they have guys at that stage of their career that have been journeymen and bounced around the league and, been with a bunch of different offenses. And sometimes that could be a good thing. It keeps you around the league a while if you got the ability to unlearn and relearn schematics and the versatility athletically to be able to do it as well. But they've got guys that have been with this football team, for 4, 5, 6 years, and they know it cold. It's been the whole time Zach Taylor's been here. Zach Taylor's been here 5 years, going into his 6th, I believe it is. And, a lot of these guys have been here with Zach Taylor from day one. I mean, he's indoctrinated all of them. He's brought them all into the league. And some of the guys he's brought into the league are in their 4th, 5th, or 6th year. And he knows exactly what they are. He knows what they can do. He knows what they can't do. They know what he expects of them. And they know what they should not be doing to be a player on Zach Taylor's football team. And then 1st, 2nd, 3rd year guys, they're still, particularly 1st and 2nd year guys, they're still trying to get it figured out, still trying to understand exactly what Zach Taylor and his coaching staffs want, how they want it done, why they want it done that way. So there is a very, very good mix of players and younger players learning from the older veteran players that have been around the block more than once with Zach Taylor's way he does things in the National Football League with the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think it's a pretty healthy thing, the roster that they've got. I like the diversity of the roster. I like the youth, the overall youth of the roster. And, it's not like if you're a young player, you can't play. It's not that way. They don't have a bunch of, the 2nd, 3rd year players that can't play. They don't know what they're doing. They've done a pretty good job of getting them ready to play, and there's still meat left on the bone. They've had a role in their 1st, 2nd, 3rd year with the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're trying to expand that role in their later years, and they want to be around for at least 7 or 8 years with the Cincinnati Bengals as a veteran player. And I like the mix of this roster. I think it's a healthy thing.
Yeah, hard to believe this is going into Zach Taylor's 7th season, and hard to believe 6th season for Joe Burrow. It just seems like he got here just a year or two ago.
It does, yeah, and it's okay. So it's 7 and 6 for Burrow with Zach Taylor. It does seem like they just got here together, but Joe Burrow, it's for as few years as he's been in the league. For a quarterback, he hasn't been in the league a ton. I mean, he's experienced. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he's a snot-nosed young rookie quarterback that doesn't know what he doesn't know. Joe Burrow understands the National Football League. He understands Zach Taylor's system. He understands how to utilize Zach Taylor's system to take advantage of schematics in the National Football League. He understands NFL coverages. He understands NFL blitzes. He understands adjustments he has to make at the line of scrimmage, getting out of a bad play into a good one. He understands how he has to change protections to give himself a chance to make some hay throwing the football down the football field to the group of receivers that he has. But Joe is, like we talked about, a lot of 6, 7, 8 year players. Joe is in that category. He's in that category of a veteran leader that the football team looks up to. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, these guys are all in that little time frame of their career where they are getting immense respect because they've made it. You make it as a rookie, and that's an achievement. You hope you just make the football team. That's the first thing you want to do as a rookie. Make it. Now, okay, I've made it. How much playing time can I get? Am I going to be a situational substitution guy? Am I going to just be I'm in on these few packages? Or you're going to work your way up to a guy that is going to be in a rotation. It's like every other series you're going to be in there. One starter, one series, you the next. Or then you work your way to be the starter. And the other guy becomes the second series guy. And then you work your way to being the full-time starter. and the other guy is just a backup who's ready to play in case you get injured or in case it's not going well for you that particular day. So they have a lot of players that have worked their way up to that status, starting high caliber starting players in the National Football League. Some of them have already been, awarded at the highest level for their performance, awarded and rewarded. Pro Bowl, MVP candidate. It's Joe Burrow's that echelon, that upper tier, that upper crust of player. So is Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is as well. Mike Gesicki's been in the league for a good number of years. I think this is Mike's eighth season, I believe. And Mike is it's his 8th year out of Penn State, and he's a pro's pro. He's a guy that takes care of himself. Usually 8th year in the league at the tight end position. You're in the back nine. You're pretty much bowing out. He's not. Mike Gesicki has a lot of football left in him. He's looking forward to a big season this year. As Joe Burrow's one of his targets, a primary target. Obviously, Jamar Chase is number 1 target. T. Higgins is number 2. Yosivas as a 3rd receiver. And then Mike Gesicki as a tight end who can line up in the slot and be a 3rd receiver as well. I think those 4 guys are big targets for Joe Burrow. And, Joe Burrow has been around a while. He knows this offense cold. Yosivas is in his 3rd season. He's the young buck of the group. So the others have been around about the same amount of time, 8 years, 7 years, 6 years. And, Yossi's like 3rd year in the league. So he's learning from those guys, and he's up in the ante in terms of his career and his understanding of the game. Like, he's a smart guy, and he can learn any offense. And, he's very coachable, and he can learn the tricks of the trade and how to run routes and plant that foot and cut violently and get separation on your route running. He picks up the tricks of the trade from the veteran players, they say, very, very easily and very, very smoothly and effectively. So, Yossi could be, this could be a big year. A lot of times the 3rd year of an NFL career, year 2 is, as a rookie, you might be in the category, you don't know what you don't know. Don't really know what's going on yet. Don't understand everything you need to understand yet. Then the 2nd year comes and it's like, all right, now I'm going to carve a role out for myself, like we had talked about earlier. 3rd year, now you're looking to expand everything that you can do. And, the horizon is like, it's endless. There's, you can put yourself in a situation where the only person that can stop you from achieving at the highest level possible in the National Football League is yourself. Because, the coaches have developed you, your teammates have helped you develop. Now it's up to you. You got to go out and make plays. Got to go out and take advantage of opportunities. And that's where Yossi is, and a lot of other, 2nd, 3rd, 4th year guys are on this football team. And Dave, that's the exciting thing. As I look up and down the roster, I mean, there are a ton of 2nd year players on this 90-man roster. A ton. And let's say, 90-man roster, it's that, that's not going to help on game day. A lot of these guys are going to be long gone. But, there's a lot of 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year. A big part of the roster is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th year guys. And a lot of them are going to be let go, but a lot of them are going to be kept. And that final roster is going to be a young roster. In the National Football League, I'm not sure if it may rank as one of the youngest, Dave. Hell, to only have 1 player, double digits experience in terms of length of career in the National Football League, Ted Karras, going into his 10th year. That's astounding. Really is. Usually there's 6, 7, 8 guys, with 10, 12, 13, 15 years experience. They have 1 guy, center Ted Karras, 10th year in the NFL. That's exciting. It really is. I mean, they got guys that can compete at the highest level that you can compete at in the National Football League, and they're not old bucks. They're young bloods. They got a body that can recover quickly. They'll be able to to last and perform for the entire duration of the NFL season. Because, man, as you get into that end of your career, years 8, 9, and 10, that NFL schedule can look overbearing, can look cumbersome, can look very, very difficult. They're not in that situation. They're not in a scenario where they can't work hard, can't practice hard. Oh, I got to take it easy. I got to shut it down. My guys, we're just trying to survive. We're just trying to get to the end of the season healthy and get into the playoffs healthy. Bengals don't have to worry about that. The Bengals are young, virile, strong, and I think they're going to make a big statement this year in the NFL, Dave.
How can you help Dave Lapham in the trenches? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Tell others, share. Dave Lapham in the Trenches presented by First Star Logistics. Again, we can't thank First Star Logistics enough for everything they do for us on In the Trenches with Dave Lapham. Make sure to check out firststarlogistics.com for more details about position openings within the company. As Lapham and I can attest to, a great place, great work environment, great place to work.
Yes, sir.
Lap, we're going to let you go. It's hard to believe. We're already starting to count down. I think practices into this one handful before we get into the first preseason game against the Super Bowl champion Eagles. We get to see what Zach Taylor, his coaching staff, especially all these new coaches and the new players, the rookies, what they do when they actually take the field and play some real football.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Dave. And like we're saying, I just admire the situation that the Cincinnati Bengals are in, because they are. I think they're a prime candidate. I think they're one of 3 football teams that can win the Super Bowl, and I think they could run the table in so doing. I really do. I think they could run the table in the regular season, and to run the table in the AFC North is no easy task. There's no question about that. I mean, it's one of the toughest divisions, if not the toughest in the National Football League. I think it's the most physical division, or if it's not, it's maybe number 2, but not any lower than that. Physicality, excellence of play. The AFC North is a snootful, and you have to play exceptionally well to win the AFC North, to win that division in the regular season. I think the Bengals are capable of not only winning the division but running the table. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. I mean, shoot, there are really great football teams in the AFC North, led by Lamar Jackson. Are you kidding me? This guy's a freakazoid. That's the quarterback position for the Baltimore Ravens. You got Aaron Rodgers quarterbacking now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you got a young athletic type quarterback in with one football team. Then you have this savvy, experienced veteran player that's been an MVP. Both have been MVPs and totally different styles of play. That's what the NFL is all about, and that's what the AFC North is all about. So the Bengals are going to have to be at the top of their game. There's no question about it, both mentally and physically, to handle that battle of the AFC North, because it's going to be a significant one. It's going to be best man wins over the long haul. There's going to be ups and downs. Who's going to be able to handle those? Sometimes you're going to have to rally to win football games, and who's got the fortitude and the guts and the desire to get that done. It's a huge challenge, both mentally and physically, to come from behind to win close football games. Look at all the close football games the Bengals were in last year as a team. They were one game over 500 on the season, and they won their last 5 games to get there. And a lot of games that they won down the stretch, and games they lost in the earlier part of the season, were one-score games. They had a bunch of one-score games that didn't all go their way, obviously, with a 9-8 record. And I think they're going to be in a lot of close football games this year. I think they win the division, but am I saying they're going to win every football game by double-digit scores? No, hell no. They're going to have to win their share of one-score games when they get in those hotly contested, battles that is decided by making a play down the stretch of the football game. The Bengals are going to have to be the one to do it offensively, and they have the weaponry and the quarterback to get that done. Defensively, they're going to have to stop the opposition from doing it as well. And do they have enough in the secondary? I think that's the big question. I think defensively, did they get enough help at corner? Offensively, did they get enough help at guard? If they get enough help at those 2 positions, Dave, I think the offense and defense are going to be that much better and more equipped to handle life in the AFC North and all the battles that go on. with respect to the football teams and the individual position groups and the individual players as well. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm excited. I think this football team will win the AFC North, and I think they will go to the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
You can follow all of the happenings of the Cincinnati Bengals on In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics through preseason and throughout the season. Be sure, again, to hit like, subscribe, and share what we're doing here on In the Trenches with Dave Lapham. Again, we want to thank First Star Logistics for everything they do for us. Again, a great place to work, one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati. Be sure to visit firststarlogistics.com for more details on possible position openings. Lap, until next time, hoo-day.
Hoo-day.